What's up, everybody? I'm just going to throw down some information on this knife provided by Fallen for the purpose of review. Get a better idea of where he's at with the quality steel he makes. Y'all don't know me, then why the hell are you watching this? No, that's not right. Watch away. But if y'all do know me, you know I'm a huge fan of his stuff. Just polishing a little muck I got on the blade here. I'm a big fan of Fallen's work on a lot of his things. This blade is stellar. Calls it his utility grade. That's crazy because it's gorgeous. I have seen him put a higher finish on some things. Anyway, there's this one little mark on the blade there. I gotta huff that off in a second, but I'm gonna use it in a minute anyway. I've seen him put a higher finish on some stuff, but certainly this satin finish is quite nice. And you can see some great reflection in it. Look at that. Where's the table stop? Where does it begin? So a couple of stats on this. So these are almost exactly the same as the stats that he gave for whatever blade he measured of. I think it's a 6 or something that he sent out. But here's what I've got. It's a 5160 steel, stock removal. He does forging as well. I believe it often costs a little extra for the forging. There's more time involved in that. Some people like that better. His heat treat is stellar. Best, like incredible stuff. Best heat treat. His heat treat's great. I can attest to that, and you shall see. It's a full flat grind. It's got a 1-inch ricasso. And there's a finger choil here. This is it Swage. I read it, I don't hear it, so I'm not sure. Or the false edge is 4 3/4 inch, maybe just a hair over that, and I'm measuring at the point where past the plunge, from the point here past. Those measurements are just the same as the measurements Fallen gave for the one knife that he did check himself before he stripped them all out. The cutting edge is 6 3/4, so that's 7 3/4 overall exposed steel. The handle is 5 inches, and that's hard rock maple, 2 brass rivets, and epoxied. Lanyard hole there. See, we've got the width of the steel inside the grip, and before it starts to distal taper down, is 1/6. It's a, where's my width here? Oh no, sorry, the width here. The width is across here is 1/16 shy of 1.5 inches, just at the full width of the ricasso here. Where do I have my thickness? Thickness is 3/16. So the steel is 3/16 thick before it starts to distal taper down. That's what I meant to say there. Overall, we've got 12 3/4 inches. Makes sense when you add up all the measurements I gave. And it's 10.4 ounces. Okay, let's see how this goes with a couple of quick edge tests. I've got newspaper here. It's a flyer, actually. It's printed on the same stuff, though. So here is a single sheet of newspaper on the main edge. Try to get this in camera here. Maybe bring this up a little bit. Give me a little more room to work. Let's see if I can do this in front of the camera the way I'm sitting. I might switch to being in front of the camera for this. I'm getting good cuts. It's an awkward angle. Let me see here. Yeah, I'm going to switch to being in front. Hopefully I'm in frame okay. Okay. That was a nice one. What I'm doing, I'm trying to start right where the edge, the plunge begins here. Give the whole edge a run. I come in just a little bit from in front of it. There we go. See, it's plenty sharp. Nice draw across, gets it done. Let's try the false edge. This is my first cutting with this knife, by the way, so you're seeing what I'm seeing. Oh, this stuff is soft. false edges. It's sharpened, not to the same as the top, as the main edge. There we go, there's a nice cut from the false edge. Once I catch this really thin newspaper, which actually was also in a rainstorm in a plastic bag on my driveway. Makes it pretty soft. So try that again. Getting a little bit of catch there. I wonder if this is going to be on camera. Come on, catch. Some cut in there. I also brought printer paper because I knew this other paper was real thin. Let's try the false edge on printer paper. See what we get. A little tear at the end there. Maybe push instead of pull is going to help. Not bad. Not bad. And the false edge again is not as sharp as the front. The main edge, let's try that. Yeah, like that. Probably. Never been good at cutting chunks of paper off. Ooh, okay. Nice slice there. Nice one there. See, the man puts a hell of an edge on his blades. Ah, that's my crappy work. Puts a hell of an edge on his blade, and of course, the false edge is not quite as sharp. That's intended. His false edges usually aren't sharpened as fully as the main edge. They're done typically at a bit more of a steep angle as well. Take some weight off the blade while providing still thickness at the tip, providing a more robust edge for a variety of work. Come on, you get 1 little nice club. Ooh, tearing it. That's the main. She cuts paper well. Better than I do. Trying to mess around with this. First go. Now what else do I have here to test? Grab some. It is 1/4 inch braided nylon rope. Stuff I'd use on a boat, that sort of thing. This one cut. Let's get it through in one cut this time. Through. Let's try the false. Two pulls to get that. You see? What more can to say? It will cut. See right there? I have a old 2x4 here. Let's hack at this sucker a little bit and then test the edge again. Now keep in mind I'm doing this while having the camera in front of me. This is not an ideal position. Let's check that edge after I've done that. And I could tell you it is flawless. There is no chip or nick on it. There's a little spot where I can see some dirt, of course, or maybe black paint from the, yeah. That little spot just above my thumb is not a chip. The camera probably has a hard time picking it up. That's probably a bit of black paint from the, on the 2x4. Come on, camera. Oh, there we go. The edge is got a little bit of paint on it, but it's still clean. See this side as well. Again, that's straight edge still. Just a scuff of paint from the black paint off of this. Trying to clean up There's maybe a couple scratch marks on the blade, but not even really. That's one thing about the satin finish, it helps mask a little bit. You can see a scratch line from there. That's probably from me wiping it even. Something on this sock. Okay, so there's some hacking done up on that. I'll count off how many there were when I replay it. And we took how much off that? Oh, I don't know. Half an inch deep maybe? Maybe it's about half an inch deep it looks like. A little deeper on this side even. Yeah, about half an inch. And let's try that paper again. Here is a fresh sheet of the same printer paper. Trying to get it to catch at the same part where I hacked at, which is about here, about where the, let's say around where the false edge begins, that inch area there. My aim at paper cutting is not perfect. Nevertheless, it is biting and still cutting paper clean there. So I've got a lot of stuff made by Fallon, and he really does know how to take care of steel in those ovens of his. Forges of his. And let's try another piece of that newspaper that, like I said, was sitting in its plastic bag on my driveway through rainfall, so it's pretty soft. It's dry, but you know, it gets soft. Still cuts clean. Oh shit, the wind's picking up. I got a mess to clean up now. Try some push cuts. Big old chunk of paper. Yep. Cuts clean too, and you could see from the video better than maybe my crappy job at cutting paper is how smooth that edge still looks. How fantastic the steel still looks. This would be a hell of a knife for any kind of all-around work. It's gorgeous. Handle's great. So let's do a quick pros con while I'm at it here. I talked a little bit of stuff about about the stuff I like, and a couple things that I mentioned that people might want done different, or how, you know, might not like. But let's get into that. What I love is steel type. 5160 is an excellent steel. It's through hardened, exceptional hardening and tempering, very good, experienced work with heat treating, consistent heat treat, clean lines, very crisp edge and bevel lines, good plunges here. Slight touch difference there, but honestly, this is handmade work and utility grade, and I've seen tons of production that is nowhere near this clean. A machine isn't always perfect either, but it looks really good, and you can see in the video how close to perfectly symmetrical that is. The plunge here looks dead on as well, even nicer than there. Clean, no harsh edges, nowhere sharp to bite when you're grabbing, gripping. Smooth grip work, very comfortable, classic ergonomic shape, belly to feel control with, to offer lots of options, a nice curve to there. If you're going to be doing any downward thrusting, yeah, that's what he said. Okay, what else? Epoxied, hardwood maple, good hardwood. On a full tang grip, nice lanyard hole, good touch. These are recessed, which again, to me, feels there's no issue in comfort and use for that. I have other blades that are recessed and aren't recessed. I've seen Fallon do flush and recessed, and they feel just the same, but one of those cons you could say is maybe on this, I could see this getting gunked up over time and needing cleaning. or maybe the need to fill this in. Smooth, but grippy, which is perfect. So I don't think there'd be any reason you want to mess with this finish. Being that it's a natural material though, if you are the type that likes to wrap, you can always take this down in size if you don't want to change the overall size, which is in fact an advantage to something like, say, a micarta, which if you sand down can tend to get fuzzy if it isn't resealed. Yeah, these things are quite pretty. Price point I'll have to put on screen. I forget what he quoted. Something like this would run. I'll pop it up on screen. So what do you got for pros here? 100% handmade in North America. Great old US of A for those of you that love being American. And I'm in Canada, as you know, but I got love for the South, which you all are to me. Handmade by a quality maker with a lot of experience. Knows what he's doing. Family deal. His wife makes the wood, does the handle work. Good steel. Sharp edge. Very functional. Holds up to use. Clean. A couple of nitpicks. You can see there's a little mark or two where it's tough to get the epoxy to clean out, and I know this from making them myself. It's tough to get the epoxy perfectly clean where scales meet the blade. Nothing that matters to me at all. Certainly not at the price point this is selling at, and certainly not if it's functional. That can clean up there anyway. There is no guard, which is the feature that's missing to make this a full-on Bowie. A traditional Bowie design, that is. Otherwise, everything else about it is 100% Bowie knife, in my opinion, and that's all you're going to get because this is my video. A nice lanyard hole. Some might, and I did notice this at first, you might want this with a little more wood between the bottom of the hole and the back of the knife. So maybe if this was inset a little further. It's a easy feature to mention if you ever have something made, by the way. I'd like this put in a little more. I don't see this being a big deal for use because you're not going to be butting with this. This isn't this doesn't have a skull crusher, or it's not capped, so you shouldn't be using the back of the blade to back of the knife to hammer things down. The false edge is great. It's a different angle, of course, than the flat grind main edge, which is what you want. It's going to reduce weight. This does have a beautiful distal taper and full flat grind, like I said, with a nice false edge that is also sharpened, not to the same degree as the front edge, but can be, of course, by request or by design if you want to do it yourself. For utility work, having a full thickness edge could be preferable if someone wants to do some batoning on wood. Of course, that false edge can give you grief if you're chopping the piece of wood you're using to chop another piece of wood. But looking at the balance of this, if I can try to do a quick finger check on balance, it's inside the handle, actually, which gives incredible control on the blade at the sacrificing, I suppose, of a little bit of blade presence. Again, these are pros and cons, however you want to see them. The balance point is somewhere about there. But with a balance point like that, you could baton here at the full thickness of the spine using the widest point of the blade and split wood clean without having to worry about getting into issues of batoning into a false edge. So is that intentional? Was that part of his design? I don't know, but it's a working move that makes sense to, again, provide more utility in one tool. All in all, she is very good looking. I can't imagine anybody ordering a knife like this from Fallen and not being tickled pink when they get it, because I know I am every time. Of course, you got to do a couple quick bottle cut tests to see how things go. That's another nice sharpness test. Grab 2 bottles. I'm losing light. Don't need to spend a lot of time. Over here, let's see how this goes. I haven't done any of this cutting with this knife yet. Let's see how she goes.
Great job, Daddy.
Thank you, Violet. Charlotte, sorry. Okay, next one. Ready? Am I in camera?
Your head's in the camera.
Let's try the false edge. I don't know how she'll go because it's not quite as sharp as the front.
Whoa.
False edge, little clean on half, tear on the other half. Not bad though. Pop that cap off clean. Let's try to do a half.
But Daddy, why did you have to put the video out?
To show people the knife. And another cut.
But
Now
I
wants to
just
see one more
lifted
bottle
it.
cut because that last one I knocked it off the stand because it was a half-slice bottle. Here we go.
Okay.
Last cut.
Not,
Ready?
yeah. You can go. Good. Go. Yeah.
That was nice feeling. So clean.
Good job.
There's the kill.
Awesome job.
Cleanup time.
Good time.
So this is what? Fallen steel?
Yes.
And we say what? Get you some.